probably, I believe it's in the paper. Of course, you know, the paper is no more than we do normally, but I believe it's, they're going to be looking at it next month, and maybe if they do implement it, be in April.
Yeah. How much are they talking about?
25 cents on first class.
That's going to be 3 cents.
You know, it's a my way of thinking, making it 25 cents and make it easier. I mean, if you're going to spend 22 cents to mail a letter, what is 3 cents? And you save, imagine how much time y'all are going to save giving change out on 22 to 25. Of course, y'all may not sell a lot of stamps single. Do you sell single stamps?
A lot of stamps.
Okay. You know, just think about that. You're going to cut your work in half right there.
Well, mainly, they're trying to put in a lot of machines for people that come up that just want one stamp, can get it out of the machine. Now, we have a machine in our office, but it gives us 3 cents and 1 cent stamp. And a lot of people don't want to mess with it. And they'll come to the window and wait for 1 stamp, and that ties up our window clerks a lot. We're hoping if they go to 25 cents, it'll cut out a lot. Window service people that just want 1 stamp.
So they'll have the stamp machine, you put a quarter in, you get a 25 cent stamp.
Ronald, that'll be 3 cents just across the board on everything per ounce, or
No, as far as we know, it's just the first ounce right now.
Yeah, normally the second ounce, it doesn't normally affect it anyway. Now, we don't know, truthfully. We haven't seen anything on it. The newspapers kind of keep us informed here.
Will it be the first ounce on all classes of mail?
No, they never do that.
Okay,
on first class, they normally go up like on the pennies, but now on second class and stuff, it just goes up a half a cent or maybe 0.2 or 3. Of course, second class is so funny anyway. You don't. The average person wouldn't really have any idea what it is.
I don't think anybody would, but Ronald I always call the miss every month when I talk mail my son. This is what you do. Well, everybody calls Ronald in. They say, oh, yeah, they change the rules. They have some few rules on that mess, don't they?
Right. There's different rules for different classes. Now, you're mainly talking about your boat rating or third class. And there's different rules for that, and there's different rules for first class, and then there's different rules for second class.
What is second class, and it's bulk is third class?
Second class mainly is your newspapers, magazines, or what we call dated material. In other words, they want it out by a certain date. And your bulk rate is kind of
dated and all that important.
Yeah. In other words, if you have a big load, that bulk rate waits until you can handle it.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't have to go out that day. You have your first class, your second class.
It's like a 3 days, but you know, here in center, your second and third class gets first class treatment. So that's the good thing about a small office. You bring it in, you know, in the morning times, and we'll get it out that afternoon. The next day, it's delivered. Same way with the papers.
What other things, or do you see different advantages being in a small town post office? You came here directly from St. Augustine. You were there just for a short period of time, but you were mostly in Houston.
I was all over Houston. Getting your mail, really. If really and truly, if we moved everybody, the Houston operation here in center, half the center people wouldn't get mail. The reason that being is we probably spend 20 minutes every morning hollering out who's got who. Somebody will move and no change of address, and this goes on, or it'd be somebody's daughter or somebody's son or somebody's nephew that comes. It's really surprising of all the mail that we deliver that has no kind of address on it at all that would come to Center, Texas.
Well, let me brag on my post person. We have Miss Milford, and she is one of the nicest ones that could ever be. You know, she just really makes an effort to make sure people get their mail and handle it very efficiently. I have gotten mail in the post office. At one time I got a postcard slipped into an envelope that is this yours, and it was no address on it except Center, Texas, but the salutation said Joe and family, or Shirley and family, had one of our names on it. Well, it wasn't ours, and you know, that just shows you how hard our post office tries to deliver the mail.
We really do. We get a lot of blame, which we do a lot of things for it. I'm sure we do, but we give it all our effort to get everybody's mail. We really do.
What about on wrapping packages? Tell me this. I have bought this clear tape. I have bought this masking-looking tape. And I show up and what is the right way to mail something like a watch or a package?
Okay, if you need to register, anything you need to register, which is of great value, okay, monetary value. When we say register, we're talking about monetary value, okay? Then you need to get some kind of tape that we can ring stamp a date or our post office on it. The reason that being is as it goes down the line of travel, they can look at that and tell it hasn't been opened, okay? If you use plastic scrapping tape, when we put our ring stamp on it, then you can wipe it off with your finger. So So it's very simple. I mean, on anything other than a register, put strapping tape. If you use a register, use some kind of brown tape that we can ring stamp. It's glued down good, and we'll ring stamp it. It's strictly for security reasons. And that registered mail is really secure.
Okay, is regular masking tape or Scotch tape, where does this fit in the routine? Nowhere?
It doesn't.
Okay.
They have on bulk mail or first-class mail by a lot of machines. They recommend, if you're mailing packages, either have them in a cardboard box, not these little boxes that you buy dresses or shirts in, but a cardboard box, and we prefer it to have it wrapped in brown, heavy paper. But we will take it with just a strong cardboard box. And it needs to be wrapped in strapping tape. That's the nylon tape that's got, the lines running through it. It can't, you have to cut it to get it open. And for the simple reason we don't want string on it, because that hangs up in the machine. But the strapping tape is what we want to wrap it.
Okay, unless it's registered, and then you use, like I
That's
said,
brown paper tape.
Liquid back
Yeah,
of it.
or you can, yeah. Before we can ring stamp and it won't come off.
Okay, all mail except the registered mail you can put with the strapping
Right.
tape that's kind of glossy.
Right.
Okay.
And if there's something breakable in it, be sure and have it well packed, front and back.
Something else that I always forget is if they put the name inside the package.
Right.
That helps. So, in case something happens to the outside wrapping.
Right.
But then you could, have a little safety there.
Well, the reason that is, Shirley, is any package that we get in, any letter that we get in, if we cannot read it, we cannot open it. We send it to Dead Letter Office, which is in Atlanta, Georgia. That's all they do is they open this mail and try to find out who it's going to, packages and whatever. So, if it comes in our office with a name on it or that we can't read or a blank name at all, then we don't do anything with it. We just send it on to Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, tell me about the practice on, checks. If you have someone move that has a check, government check, are those forwardable?
Okay, all government checks are forwarded except food stamps. Food stamps, you cannot forward them. If you move next door, we cannot forward them. The reason this is Austin dictates to us what to do with their mail. So if you, any other check, yes, we forward it.
Except the food stamps?
Except the food stamps. Now, it's now up to a year. We was up to 18 months, and they dropped it back down to a year. Our mail, the forwardable mail, goes from here to Tyler. They have a set up there where they do all the forwarding mail, have the little yellow slip on it and the yellow sticker. It's all did on computer, software, computers, and up to a year now.
How did the post office wind up with food stamps? I'm sure it's a nice, happy subject, but I have yet to relate my mind what mail has got to do with food stamps.
Well, I believe Texas is about the only one that handles it now, isn't it?
Well, I'm really not sure. We don't handle that many anymore.
Really?
I mean, well, I'm not telling the truth there. Before they come into the post office, they would bring a card into the post office. We had the stamps in the post office, although we still do now, but they're certifying most of their food stamps out. In other words, we probably don't do maybe a tenth of what we did when I first come to Center Texas.
We run about $7,000, $8,000 a month now. Yeah. We used to run.
Then you don't consider that too much, then, in comparison to what you were doing. And yet that sounds like a lot of other things to have to be doing.
Well, most of those are emergency cards. People that go over to the office and get their card, and they need the stamps right there, and they bring them over. Well, we did what, $7,000, $8,000 a month.
It's about a tenth of what it used to be.
Well, so we've had quite a few changes. What are some other changes that you've been here in the Center Post Office, Ronald, that you can think of that we're going towards either better or worse, the way you see it?
Well, we've got the new G stands, which are the LLVs that are called, and they're supposed to last 25 years body-wise. The drivetrain, 10 years. That's the motor and transmission stuff. Those are the newest maintenance for transportation vehicles, and eventually all the post offices will have them. They'll do away with the little Jeep that everybody's common used to see. Other than that, we're getting a lot of, we're handling more mail now, but most of it is what we call the pre-sort, which you would, the third class and stuff. And the reason we can handle more of that, we don't work it as much. We work it, in other words, it comes in bundled out to the route or whatever, and it's not handled at one time basically in our office. You know, where we just throw it to the carrier and he sorts it and carries it out. You don't realize each letter is handled minimum of 3 or 4 times before it's ever reached its final destination point. And that pre-sorting mail to the route cuts out about 2 handlings or more.
Okay, when Wayne brings his in and it's sorted out as into route already?
If he breaks it down, that's fine. And it's called pre-sort mail, and it's just got a route number on it, and we throw the whole bone to them. And that's the only time it's handled. Otherwise, it's broke down in our office, the clerk sorts it out to each route, and then it's handled again. So if you bring something in the window, if it's not pre-sorted just in our office, it's handled a minimum of 3 times.
So the third class doesn't have to be pre-sorted by route, does it?
No, it doesn't have to be, but you get a better break on it as far as money-wise. So if it's just plain third class, it's 12.5 cents.
Okay.
All right, then if it's 5-digit class, in other words, you've got it all broke down the center, it's 10.1. And then if you break it down to the carrier route, it's 8.3, so it's quite a bit of savings.
So you can set it up on your computer to run them that way.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Very easy.
I'm thinking, that's what, at least 100 pieces.
Well, third class, you have to have a minimum of 200 a mail.
In mailing, but if I've got a pre-sorted, all right, I would put 10.1 and all those going, like say, to one zip code.
If you had it.
5 digits, yeah.
5 digits.
But like my inside center stuff, or Chevrolet, if I had it sorted by route, I could put 8 point something on those,
Right.
10.1 on those.
If you had a minimum of 10 for each route, and if you had a combination of
Which you're gonna have.
125.
You see why you had something wrong with it? That's good.
All right, something I'm always curious about. If I drop some mail in one of the little collection posts,
Okay.
that's not what you call them, collection
boxes.
Okay. Is it going to be collected as often, as quickly as if I drop it in the post office?
Okay, the collection boxes, all the collection boxes we have in the outlying areas, which I'm saying is the shopping center and out at the Brookshire Brothers, they're all normally collected prior to 1 o'clock. If you want to deliver, drop off anything after that, you need to get the one on the square. It's picked up at 4:45. Inside the post office, we pick the last mail up at 5 o'clock. That's when the truck leaves and we close the office.
Okay, is it just the one on the inside square now, or is there another one?
No, one on the square, one at the old black walls over by the
Across the
First
Postmaster.
National, then it's one in front of Pain and Pain building.
Okay.
Those are all 3:45?
Well, we start on them at 4:30.
But we pick up the
So
one
1:30 is your safe time on those, and you're
1
before
o'clock.
5 over here?
5 o'clock in the post office.
Okay.
Good.
Well, that's it, because a lot of times I have things that I need to get in there, and I'm always afraid to drop it in one of those boxes.
Any of them on the square, you can drop them up to 4:30. We start putting those on the square at 4:30, but we don't get the main one, which is the drive-in where you can get in your car at 4:45.
Okay, April 15th, I have seen the lines at Shreveport in places where the post offices stay open late.
Right.
We've never had to do
No, the
anything
reason
like
that
that.
is, they stay open late because they have a late collection, okay? Houston, we used to. In other words, they are the hub of sending mail out. Houston sends every which way, so that's why here, ours leaves at 4:45, so
So we're doing
we have
it.
no reason to stay out there.
Right. Okay, let me ask you something. We hear all this stuff about the inefficiency of the post office on television. That's what the American public is hearing, all this stuff. We're hearing what UPS boys just made money and profits and doing all this stuff efficiently, and all Federal Express and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
What's the truth to all this? The post office is doing probably mega mail more than any other little company, but
Well, let me put it this way. It's just like you if you was in Center, Texas, and all you had was just the inside of Center, okay, to do your business in. Once you get outside of Center, you're getting into rural area where you don't have a house every 3 or 4 miles, okay? That's what the post office is. We deliver mail everywhere in the United States. The other companies are getting the cream of the crop. They get in the big cities, and it's the same thing. If they ever get into first-class mail, they're not going to go out in the country. You can forget it. They cannot do it. They cannot. It's not cost-wise. It's just not feasible. So that's why we're in the position we are. We go anywhere. We deliver by boat. We deliver some old place they used to deliver by horse, by just any means possible. By airplane. Some of the up in the northern states in the wintertime, they deliver the mail in by small planes. So. A company's not going to do that.
you're just comparing apples and oranges.
That's right.
When you do
You're
that.
exactly right.
What about, are there any services you think the post office by tradition, because tradition locks us into lots of things, is there anything that y'all can see that tradition has caused the service to do that's so inefficient y'all would think it suggested should be cut out, since y'all are on grassroots looking at it? I mean, the guys in Washington don't see it from y'all.
No, that's true. I tell you, the post office has probably improved in the last, I would say, now this is my personal opinion, the last 10 years probably 50%. I mean, we have a very high rate of delivery. We do some kind of test everywhere, daily on checking to see what kind of delivery we have, if it's 1 day, 2 day, or 3 days. And I think I was reading somewhere today where our last counting period, our 2-day delivery area, which is like from here to, I guess our 2-day delivery will be way up above Dallas. It's 95%. So, you know, it's really got a lot better. The transportation end of it's got a lot better.
What about the difference, Ron, in airmail, first class? What's our difference on that?
Airmail in the United States is really, anything over 200 miles is airlifted, basically.
Just plain old first class.
First class air. We don't have an airmail, and you just can't come up and buy airmail stamps in the United States anymore. Everything is airlifted over, I believe it's 200 miles, roughly 200.
Some of that's even airlifted.
Yeah. And then, of course, out of the country, you have to buy airmail stamps, and it's different prices for different countries. But everything is airlifted now.
Anything y'all think you need to tell the world that's good or good here in Center?
Well, all I just say is I just appreciate everybody. It's really been a good experience for me here. Everybody's really been super nice. And we really have very few problems. It's really good. Some of the problems is unexplained.
When you're dealing with people, you're always going to have some
Well, let me just,
unexplainable.
before I leave, let me give you an example. The other day, somebody brought in some first-class letter mail, 4 or 5 letters. In fact, it was across from the post office, and I brought them in, and someone had cut the stamps off of them. I said, oh, my goodness. Where did they get this mail from? You know, why? I mean, it's just not explainable. Not open, just someone had cut the stamps off. Well, about that time, I hollered at Ron, and I said, such and such comes in to pick up the mail. Ask them, please, stop by it. And lo and behold, she was out in the lobby then. And so I called her around and I said, you know, have you seen this mail? She said, oh, yeah, I cut those stamps off, and I dropped it out of my purse. I didn't know what that mail was at. But, you know, it's just things like that. There's just no explanation for it. It's just, if I hadn't seen her, I'd have never knew what happened. I'd have been worried, I guess, from then on.
I'll tell you, I can say one thing. I think there's businessmen, people in town that you can really save some money and do some things. You'll take time to talk with y'all, especially Ronald has me in mind of knowing how to get mail out. And, you know, if you just find out the different rules, there's lots of advantages.
We'd be glad to, you know, if they'll call us, or Ron or I'll come over and sit down and explain it to you, tell you all the different ways you can mail and all the ways you can save money.
Because if you do mail quite a things out, you know, every week or every month, so you can save quite a bit over a length of time. We appreciate y'all coming by.
Well, we sure enjoyed it.
Sharing your knowledge with us, and we're a lot more enlightened.
Thank y'all very much. Thank you. Appreciate it.